What is it? Yeah. There's no such thing as homophobia. Homophobia doesn't exist because let's flip the script and replace the homosexual talk with pedophiles and pedophilia. If somebody expresses their disdain and their disgust for pedophiles, and somebody else just comes up and say, "Stop being pedophobic," it doesn't make any sense, does it? It doesn't make any sense. Stop being pedophobic. What the hell are you talking about, buddy? And that's the same energy and the ways you need to come back to people that will call you homophobic, as well as that other weak argument that they use when they say, "Oh, you don't like gay people? Oh, you may be gay and under the closet." Nobody says that about people who hate pedophiles. Nobody says, "Oh, you watch Chris Hanson? Why do you watch Chris Hanson? What? Well, maybe you are secretly a pedophile." You know how dumb that would be if that was said, but it's used in like in the other counter-strike of arguments of the homosexuality conversation. But if you use that same premise, you can open their minds and open another chamber of thought for them and see how idiotic their standpoint really is. When you bring it up to something that they are against, that everybody is against, that isn't really a pedophile or anything like that, but because, and it'll be perfectly valid. It'll be perfectly valid, especially because homosexuality used to be in the same playing field as pedophilia, on the same level as pedophilia and rape. Homosexuality was right there and met them two in the middle, So, if you ever find yourself in an argument and anybody accuses you of being homophobic, use these counter strikes. These are tools of conversation that is used in psychological warfare and stuff like that. It's like and no, you don't have to study that. That's another thing. This is a segue. That's another thing. Intelligence is not only gained through experience or reading. Like, the only book I read nowadays is the Bible, because every other book that I've read is I've known the things that are within the book, and then already learned that something that may be in the book, I've learned that to not be true, and then I already analyzed that and observed that and seen the lies within the thing, whatever they're saying is, I already knew and came to the realization that it isn't. For example, this book right here, The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. This is one of the worst books I've ever read in my entire life. There's so many things that are misunderstood in this book. There's so many lies that are in this book. There's so many just philosophical errors that I already came to the realization too that is just not true. That is untrue. Just like how I explained how, a coward doesn't die 1,000 times because a coward is a coward and is afraid of death. But, most people don't understand that. But that's exactly how Einstein was. He didn't have to go out and go, Argh. He'll already come up with stuff in his head. And he'll tell other people to find a way to write it down. He wouldn't be like, "Oh, this is," and he will already have it. He's already in the know. He's already there to the place they're trying to get, And that's another form of intelligence, intellect, wisdom, that comes from God. And that's, it's a type of wisdom Solomon had, It's a wisdom you can't obtain by doing some bullshit reading a book. And I had another book. It was another book. It was talking about Friedrich Nietzsche and Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud, man, I don't know how people see these words, but Because there's a lot of stuff that they get from Sigmund Freud that's just hogwash. It's like, how do people even believe this? You know? And you can know this as with Friedrich Nietzsche too, with the shadow. It's something that he didn't have to go out and study. It's something he already knew and just identified and put a name on it. That's within everybody. He just put a name on it, But yeah, that's how you can have intelligent people that that don't read. That's why I don't encourage people to read all the time, because unless if you want to touch up on your social skills and the way you talk and all that, but there's multiple ways to do that as well. But you can buy a book. And that's why I don't really buy books anymore, because I got so pissed off. Too, when I read that book. I'm like, man, I'm not learning shit. All the shit I'm reading, I already knew. Well, I know it's just bullshit. And it's like, man, yeah. The only book that I've read within the last, let's say, 5 years, that I've learned something new in was the Bible. So I'll just stick with that, man. All that other stuff is just, I already know. Like, there's somebody right now that got the intellect and already in the know that they don't need to read Suzu's or whatever that guy's name is, The Art of War. They don't need to read that. They already know. Just like the person who wrote the book, he already knows. But people don't know.